Dark, ambient classical music. Machiavelli stands in candlelight, holding a feather pen. A shadowy room filled with old books and maps of empires. The greatest mistake a man can make is to believe that people change. Centuries may pass, kingdoms may rise and fall, but the nature of man, his desires, his fears, his ambitions remains carved from the same ancient stone. The faces change, the words evolve, but the impulses within remain eternal. You see, when you learn to recognize these impulses, you no longer see individuals, you see patterns. And in those patterns lies power. Every man, every woman you meet is guided by invisible strings: greed, pride, envy, lust, and fear. These are the 5 great puppeteers of humanity. You can dress them in religion, philosophy, or modern civility, but beneath every polite smile and every noble speech, they remain the same. When a merchant cheats you, when a friend betrays you, when a ruler demands loyalty, it is not reason that drives them, but these ancient instincts. You must understand this: human nature is not pure, it is not evil, it is simply strategic. A man helps you only when he benefits. A lover stays faithful only while it suits their heart. A servant obeys only while he fears punishment or desires favor. Strip away the decoration of morality, and you will see the gears of human behavior turn exactly as they did in Rome, in Florence, and as they still do today. People do not act, they react. They move according to their desires and their insecurities. A powerful man seeks admiration to protect his pride. A weak man seeks approval to hide his weakness. Wise Machiavellian observes these reactions and reads them like a scholar reads his books. When a man flatters you excessively, he seeks advantage. When he criticizes another loudly, he hides his own guilt. When he preaches virtue, he hopes to mask his own vice. Look closely, and you will see that everyone reveals themselves in moments of desire and fear. Desire shows what they chase, fear shows what they protect. When a ruler trembles at losing power, you know where to strike. When a lover fears abandonment, you know what binds them. The moment you identify what drives someone, you can predict their every move, because no man can escape his nature. You must never be fooled by appearances. The generous man may give with one hand, but only to receive with the other. The humble man may bow, but often so, he can rise higher later. People pretend to be good because the world demands the performance of goodness. They act righteous because society rewards it. But if you want to read them truly, look beyond what they say about themselves, and instead, look at what they choose when no one is watching. Every age believes it is more enlightened than the last. They say, we are not like those before us, we are better, more civilized. And yet, history repeats. The same betrayals, the same manipulations, the same ambitions wrapped in different robes. It is because man's core never changes. You can change his surroundings, his education, his tools, but not his heart. A modern man with a phone in his hand is no different from a medieval prince with a sword. Both seek influence, recognition, and love. Both fear irrelevance. Both will lie, flatter, or fight to preserve their illusion of importance. If you learn to read human nature, you can walk among kings and peasants alike and see no difference. The poor man envies the rich man fears the poor. The friend wants your loyalty, but not your equality. The lover wants your affection, but not your independence. Each interaction hides a transaction. Every smile carries a motive. It is not cynicism, it is clarity. To truly raid anyone, you must study these invisible laws. Watch what people chase when they think they can win. Watch what they abandon when they think they can lose. Greed makes a man move faster than reason. Fear makes him reveal his truth. Pride blinds him. Desire betrays him. If you watch closely, you will see these forces working in every face, every gesture, every silence. The tragedy is that most men do not even know themselves. They claim to be loyal, yet betray for praise. They call themselves brave, yet tremble when tested. They speak of honesty, yet lie for comfort. They live in self-deception, and that is what makes them easy to read for those who see clearly. To read others, you must first unmask yourself. You must admit your own desires, your own fears, your own pride. Only then will you see those same elements reflected in others, like a mirror showing not faces, but instincts. When you master this understanding, no smile will fool you, no promise will seduce you. You will see the world as it is, a theater of instinct, a grand stage of emotion disguised as logic. And as others act blindly within it, you will stand still, watching, analyzing, knowing exactly which thread to pull, and which mask will fall next. Because power begins not in controlling others, but in seeing them for who they truly are. If you wish to read anyone, you must first silence your emotions. Most people observe through the fog of their own feelings. They see what they want to see, not what truly stands before them. A man smiles and they believe he is kind. A woman flatters and they assume she admires. But the Machiavellian knows. Emotion is the enemy of perception. You cannot see clearly through the water you have disturbed. Only when you are still, when you do not need approval, love, or validation, can you begin to observe truth. The weak react. The powerful watch. In every room, in every conversation, most people are too busy defending themselves or trying to impress. But the observer, the true reader of men, listens more than he speaks. He lets others reveal their nature by their tone, their rhythm, their eyes, their pauses. People expose more through hesitation than confession. You must train your senses to pick up what they think they are hiding. It is not a matter of intelligence, but attention. A single glance often tells more than 1,000 words. You will notice that most people contradict themselves. They claim humility but speak with pride. They preach honesty yet avoid eye contact. They promise loyalty while calculating advantage. These contradictions are the footprints of truth. They lead you directly to what the person is trying to conceal. But to see them, you must resist the urge to respond emotionally. When someone flatters you, do not smile too soon. When they insult you, do not defend. Every reaction clouds your vision. Remain composed, detached, and quietly alert. To read others, observe patterns, not performances. People can fake a single moment, but not a consistent rhythm. Watch how someone behaves when they think no one important is watching. Watch their posture when they are relaxed. Observe their tone when they speak to those they consider beneath them. The truth always leaks through the cracks of arrogance and comfort. The most accurate readings come from what people do when they forget to act. Emotion makes fools of even the intelligent. The moment you take offense, you become blind. The moment you seek sympathy, you surrender clarity. Emotion attaches you to outcomes. You start to want to believe something. And so you stop seeing what contradicts it. That is why the manipulator always provokes emotion first. They make you angry, flattered, or guilty, and once you react, they control your sight. Remember this: whoever controls your emotion controls your perception. Whoever controls your perception controls you. Detach yourself in conversation. Let others burn in their own words. When a man speaks too much, he reveals his vanity. When he interrupts, he reveals his insecurity. When he changes subjects too quickly, he reveals discomfort. Watch his body, not just his sentences. A liar often rehearses his words but forgets his gestures. His lips may lie smoothly, but his eyes will flicker. His hands will tighten. His shoulders will shift. These are the betrayals of the body, involuntary, honest, and constant. You must also observe silence. There is great power in what people refuse to answer. Ask a direct question and watch the delay. That pause, that brief hesitation, is the space where truth trembles before the lie is built. Never rush to fill silence. Most cannot bear it. They reveal themselves simply to escape it. The wise observer knows that every second of silence is a battlefield where others surrender their truth without realizing it. In the art of reading people, your face must remain still, your tone neutral, your eyes steady. Do not let others know what you think of them. The moment you reveal your judgment, they will adapt their mask. But if they cannot read you, they will continue to expose themselves, trying harder and harder to impress, to persuade, to manipulate until they unravel before you completely. The unreadable man is the one who reads all others. Understand this. Your emotions are weapons in the hands of others. They will test you with provocation, charm, guilt, or anger, all to measure your reactions. If you stay unmoved, they grow uncertain. Their strategy collapses. In that silence of yours, their mind begins to speak. They start to reveal what they truly want, what they truly fear. The less you reveal, the more they expose. Observation is not passive. It is the most powerful form of control. The true observer is like a mirror. He reflects, but never absorbs. He listens not to answer, but to understand. He watches not to judge, but to calculate. Every tone, every glance, every shift of breath is a clue. When someone tells you who they are, believe it not through their words, but through their habits. People cannot sustain falsehood for long. Truth always leaks out in their repetition, in their contradictions, in their smallest details. Detach from the emotional theater around you. See the world as a stage and yourself as its quiet spectator. Let others perform. Let them act their roles of confidence, virtue, or innocence. Watch closely, for within their performance lies their fear of being exposed. Once you learn to see without reacting, you hold the advantage that few ever achieve. The power to understand others faster than they understand themselves. In every room you enter, there are two kinds of people, those who rush to speak, and those who rule through silence. The majority believe power lies in words, in arguments, in explanations. But truth is far more subtle. Power belongs to the one who speaks last, or not at all. Silence is not emptiness. It is pressure. It is mystery. It is the invisible hand that makes others reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. The less you say, the more others imagine. And imagination is far more powerful than truth. Understand this, the need to explain oneself is a weakness. When you defend, you give your opponent a map to your emotions. You tell them what offends you, what worries you, what you fear. But when you stay silent, they are left guessing. Their mind begins to fill the space you created. They wonder, they overthink, they reveal more trying to understand you. The more uncertain others are about your thoughts, the more control you have over theirs. This is the secret of silence. It makes the world speak for you. Observe those who talk too much. They are prisoners of their own tongue. Every word they speak becomes a thread that can be pulled. The liar exposes inconsistencies. The proud man reveals insecurity. The desperate man shows his need, but the silent man, he terrifies them all. People cannot fight what they cannot predict. They cannot manipulate what they cannot read. Your silence creates an invisible wall of power that no noise can breach. When you are silent, you force others to reveal themselves. In conversation, remain still, nod, let them continue. People have a deep craving to fill empty space. They cannot endure quiet for long. It feels like judgment, like exposure, so they rush to explain, to justify, to speak until they betray their true feelings. The moment you stop talking, they start confessing. They tell you their motives, their fears, their desires, simply to escape the discomfort of your calm. In the court of politics, I watched men destroy themselves with words. They argued to prove wisdom, They boasted to gain favor, and in their noise they revealed their weakness. But those who spoke sparingly were seen as dangerous, mysterious, intelligent. People project greatness onto what they cannot see. If you want respect, say less. If you want fear, say nothing. The less information you give, the more others imagine, and imagination exaggerates power far beyond reality. Silence also protects you from the most dangerous trap of all, emotional reaction. When you stay silent, you deny others the satisfaction of knowing how you feel. They will try to provoke you, insult you, flatter you, anything to make you reveal yourself. But the one who does not react controls the rhythm of the interaction. It is not always the loud who lead. It is often the quiet who decide when the conversation ends. Do not mistake silence for passivity. True silence is not the absence of voice. It is the presence of control. It is a strategy, a weapon. It lets you study others while they believe they are leading the discussion. It allows you to calculate your words like arrows, each one deliberate, precise, and impossible to counter. Every time you resist the urge to speak, you gain leverage. Every word you withhold is a step toward understanding how others think. In moments of conflict, silence becomes your shield. When someone attacks you with accusations or anger, they expect defense. They expect explanation. When you do not provide it, they lose balance. They begin to question their own position. Your calmness in the face of aggression unnerves them, because silence cannot be argued with. It does not lose its temper. It does not make mistakes. It simply waits, and in waiting, it wins. Those who seek influence must master the pauses between words. Speak only when it benefits you, and even then, speak less than necessary. Let your tone be measured, your sentences short. The goal is not to be heard, it is to be remembered. A single well-timed silence after a statement can echo louder than a paragraph of explanation. The world remembers silence because it invites curiosity, and curiosity breeds attention. When you enter a room, observe who dominates through noise and who controls through stillness. The loud man demands presence, the silent man commands it. Noise fades, but silence lingers. It forces people to lean in, to wonder what you are thinking, to compete for your approval. When you withhold your voice, you make your value increase. People chase what they cannot easily grasp. The silent mind becomes the most desired, the most feared, and the most respected. In the end, silence is the language of the powerful. It allows you to read others while remaining unread. It reveals truth without ever exposing your own. Most people speak to be understood. Wise remain silent to understand. When you speak less, you hear more, not just words, but intention. You begin to sense the rhythm of thought beneath every tone, every hesitation, every sigh. And once you can hear that rhythm, you no longer need to guess who people are. They tell you, even in their quietest moments. Now you see, the power to read anyone is not a trick. It is a discipline. It begins with understanding that human nature never changes, that behind every smile lies an instinct older than civilization itself. It grows through observation, through the art of seeing without reacting, of noticing what others overlook because they are too busy defending, feeling, or pretending. And it is perfected in silence, in the mastery of restraint, where your calm becomes the mirror in which others expose their souls. When you combine these three, knowledge of nature, control of emotion, and the strength of silence, you hold the keys to human understanding. You will no longer wander blind through the intentions of others. You will see the invisible mechanics of every conversation, every alliance, every betrayal. You will recognize greed before it strikes, deceit before it forms, and loyalty before it proves itself. Most people stumble through life reacting, explaining, hoping to be understood. But the wise, they watch. They let the world unfold before them like a play, each actor revealing his part through words and gestures he does not even notice. And as others move by impulse, The observer moves by design. That is where true influence begins. Never forget, to read anyone is not to judge them, but to understand their motives before they act. The one who understands human nature does not fear deceit, because he sees it forming. He does not fear betrayal, because he recognizes it in the eyes long before the act. He does not need to ask for truth. He already sees it written between the lines. Learn to observe without emotion, listen without interruption, and speak only when silence has already delivered your message. This is how you rise above manipulation. This is how you become unreadable, unshakable, untouchable. The power to read others is not about control. It is about freedom. Freedom from illusion, freedom from surprise, freedom from the blindness that binds ordinary men. When you master this art, you will move through the world differently. People will sense something in you they cannot name: an awareness, a calm, a presence. They will hesitate before lying. They will measure their tone when speaking to you. They will respect what they do not understand. And in their uncertainty, your power will grow. So watch carefully, speak little, and remember, the eyes may deceive, but behavior never does. The truth of every soul is always visible to the one who knows where to look.